Hey guys, it's Richard here from Trollline Fishing. It has been a while due to coronavirus and, personal issues that I've been having with my family and stuff. I've been unable to get out this winter. I know Steve got out a crap ton. He got a few pike this year. Nothing crazy. I think he even went out trout once, but I've even had to be kind of separated from Steve as well, hoping that I can get out to do Musky opener with him this year, but it doesn't look like it's going to be great, but we're going to see what happens. So I thought I would do this video just to kind of upload again to show you some of my favorite trolling baits, summer, fall, all of them, some of them that are a little bit more inexpensive to some that are more expensive to some that are very unique. So I'll first start off with an inexpensive option, which, a lot of people know this guy. He's a great guy. He still takes checks to this day, which I think is, honestly, it's probably one of my favorite things about buying a bait from him. And that's Georgie. This is a shag and shad. I have a 15-inch jointed shag and shad. It's great. This is an acid frog that Dave Williams actually pulled out of a stump or found it floating a day after I stumped it with my initial leader, which the leader didn't fail. I actually snapped it with like 6 inches of line. So it failed over my line, not my tie, which I was kind of very proud about. But I got a shag and shad. This is great for all year. They're not really big, so the profile is not really crazy on them. And a bunch of other Georgie baits, if you've seen them as well, they're great. You know what? For any person who's getting into musky fishing, you don't need to drop hundreds of dollars on these baits. That you can. Honestly, some of them are crazy. I have a few like that, but it's not recommended for everybody. So if you're looking for an inexpensive option, that's it right there. He's got a few different sizes and different styles, which I highly recommend you message Georgie. He's always available, and I know he went through something recently, so hopefully he's doing good. Get well, Georgie, if you're seeing this. But obviously, Georgie baits are an easy bait to choose. Like I said, they're very inexpensive, and they do the job. At the end of the day, I think a lot of time you're paying for a fisherman's kind of eye on the paint, not a fish's. Like, I feel like that's just... trying to decide where I'm putting this light here. Sorry, guys. I feel like that's on us, but it is what it is. So another one of my baits where I think it's one of those indestructibles, not crazy expensive. I don't think he makes this style anymore. River Slick. As you can tell, gorgeous cigar style bait. Like, this guy is solid. The epoxy job, the paint, the sparkle, everything's really good. For River Slicks, I enjoy them. They pull hard, like they pull but you know what, I find that's a lot of fun for me. I like putting them in my holder. I've actually held on to a rod for a good 45 minutes towing one of these around, so I can say I've done my due diligence when it comes to holding. I can't get this laid in a good spot, I'm sorry. And it's a great bait to have in your box. He's got a bunch of different models now. This is the Throat Punch series. I prefer these, but I think the craftsmanship on them is second to none. Like, they're really nice baits. This bait here is good for, late summer, early fall, or even into the fall. I know he made a 15-inch version of this. I don't have that myself. I'm a big baits guy. You'll see coming up some of the baits I'm going to show you. But as a middle of the pack price point for a bait, it's quite strong, and I think he's proven himself. I believe it's Pat Breer. He's proven himself with the fish he's caught. So I would say that's another one. If you want to get in your box, you get it. I think it's a good bait to have. These are all my opinions. Some people disagree, some people agree with me, but this is what I think. So now I went with an option so everything I've showed you right now are kind of custom bait builders. What I'm going to show you now is something you can buy at a store. And that's a believer. This is a 13-inch believer. They have 8, 10s, I think 6s. This is a jointed 13. I have a straight 13, 2 jointed. This is like a weird walleye pattern. This is definitely a late fall bait, or, start of fall. I love using this guy on St. Clair. I know me and Steve have lost a pretty decent sized fish on a 10-inch believer before on St. Clair. But I would say that this is definitely a bait that you want to have in your box, all sizes. And again, it's something that I explain to everybody who's getting into musky fishing. You don't need to spend hundreds of dollars. Like, look at this. You can hear that a mile away. Mind you, this was, I think, $75.99 I got this for, $75.99. It sounds expensive, but considering how much you can pay for some of these baits, it's a great price bait to put in your box. The 8s and 10s are cheaper than this. I think they're around 37, which isn't bad for a crankbait. You can have it in your box at least, and it's not going to break your bank. It's the same as a Georgie. Same idea as that. You just can get various sizes. Same with the Georgies, I guess. Just different shape. The platypus, for some reason, Musky seemed to love it. I've had multiple fish hit on them, and for some reason, they seem to love these things. So I think it's something you should keep in your box. Next one I'm going to show you is actually probably one of my favorite baits I've owned, and I just got it recently, and I won it in one of the Musky Trader Canada auctions, and I have to say, for some reason, me and this bait, I pull it. It's a fall bait, obviously. It's not something you're going to pull in the summer. Depending on where you are, you might want to, I guess. I guess for me, I love the way it swims, and that is a BR Minnow. This paint job, first off, is honestly amazing. His paint jobs are so good, and just the baits run so nice. And you know, I got my hands on this 14-inch cis. I believe it's 14. It could be bigger, actually. Now that I'm looking at it, it could be a 16. I don't have a measuring tape, I would tell you. I'm in my little workshop. I have my little basement workshop. I'm starting on my own little bait that I have as well. But this is a beautiful bait. I pull it in the Kawarthas even. I know some people think I'm crazy because I pull some big ass baits all over. But I'm one of those guys who, I'm a firm believer of big baits, big fish. You know, I think a muskie is going to bite up to what its capability is going to be, like, you know, 2/3 of its body or so. So I think with a 14-inch bait, I don't think something 20 inches is going to bite it, considering the fact that it's bigger than it. You will get that, but I find a lot of the times when you hear these big fish being pulled out, they're on these, you know, even if it's a 10-inch bait, the lip is massive on it. Something about the bait is big. But yeah, BR baits, they're honestly amazing. I just got a few others as well. I just won in raffles as well. Like, this is a gorgeous paint job. I was gonna, sometimes when I have extra baits, if I win 2 or 3 in a raffle, sometimes I'll ask my father-in-law Steve if he's interested in any of them, because then I keep the ones I like. The ones I'm gonna fish. I don't like putting boxes. Like, I just got this. It doesn't even have hooks on it yet, but I'm the kind of guy who's a firm believer in, you get a bait, you fish it. If you don't fish it, get rid of it. Because you know what? It sits in your box without split rings or hooks on it. You'll never put them on. I had an issue with a few baits like that recently where I love the baits. I kept the baits. A season went by without me putting hooks and split rings on them. So I got rid of them, and it was just not because you make space for what you're going to use. And you know what? I think sometimes if you have too many options, you sit there some days and when you're not catching, going, what the hell am I going to run? And I've run into that on St. Clair. That place, love it, but I hate that place. The people there are second to none. The people in the Windsor community are amazing. The Mike Parkers, the Will and Jens, they're excellent. But I would tell you, that lake is driving me crazy. I've pulled my biggest fish out of that lake, but then I've gone there and got nothing after it. Honestly, it boggles. I know a lot of people stand there like this all day, like this. It happens. But yeah, BR baits, second to none paint jobs. You know, built amazing, runs so nice. Like, I think the running is, for me, what I really are impressed by these is how well they run. Now, the last bait I'm going to show you is kind of, I have my whole bait box here. My last bait I'm going to show you is something I got maybe 2.5 years ago. I've run this in the Kawarthas, in St. Clair. You know, I've run it everywhere I can. Year appropriate, right? Like, I'm not going to run this in the summer. This has got to be a fall bait. It's my 16-inch Clarky. With the lip, I think it brings it closer to 20 inches. It's my 16-inch Clarky. Love this bait. It's gorgeous. It's the profile of it. Look, I can show you some of the hook rash. Very little hook rash on it because it is built so well. Just like, look at the sparkle on that when you get the right lighting on it. Like, look at that. That's gorgeous. Noah did an excellent job on this. I bought a few baits off Noah myself. I'm excited to take this one. I'm hoping to hit Georgian Bay and a couple of the bays once the borders open. I'm hoping to go to Green Bay eventually and, you know, run a few of these big boys in there late fall. And yeah, like, this is like my special bait. Like, Steve, when he sees me run this, he thinks I'm crazy. But, you know, for a bait this size, it pulls so nice. And I think that's something that's very underrated about, there's some dried seaweed that just pulled off it. That's very underlooked about Noah's baits is that something this big pulls so smooth. You know, I have a jointed shimmy shad, I believe, or a jointed bait of his, which is also pulls like butter. And I think that's like even like BR, his baits too, they pull really nice. Like this was just something I show. It's one of those crazy ass baits. Like as you can see, it's across my chest. I'm not a small guy. I'm 230 pounds, and the thing goes across my shoulders. So it's a hell of a bait. It's really cool looking, and I think honestly, one day I'm gonna catch a monster with this, and I can't wait for that day. I think my biggest fish is gonna come on one of these two, if I had to personally tell you. Or it could be on a believer, or it could become on my inexpensive option in my Georgie. You don't know, right? Sometimes it's just, I think the bait's at the right place at the right time. But yeah, so that's my lineup of baits that I really like for trolling, just giving my opinion on some of my favorite baits and some of the baits that I think that, you know, if you're looking for inexpensive options or, you know, stuff maybe in a little bit higher of a price range, who to look for, because they are so well known in the musky community. And then, you know, you have your... Just got this guy recently. And then, you know, you have your hose baits. Everybody knows who Sean is. His baits have a name for them. This is a gold bar walleye that I got in one of the raffles with, I think through Pete again. I win quite a bit of baits in raffles. If you've seen my name in raffles, you know, Richard Molinaro. I got a horseshoe sometimes. Won a few rods, you know, all the fun stuff. But yeah, so those are my, like, I think some of my favorite baits and, like, you know, my one unique bait. So I guess it's kind of an appreciation post for some of the bait builders out there, and I just wanted to get something uploaded to the channel as well. You know, I'm hoping that with this summer, get my boat out there, and I'm going to be able to film you guys some videos. I don't have any of my other baits with me, but one of my big baits that I've really started to, you know, kind of go to is anything that Shadzilla makes. The Ratzillas, the Shads, all of them. Mike makes really nice baits, and you know, they're excellent. I have a shit ton. I won at a raffle, not a raffle, I won at a charity fishing thing, and it was one of the fishing shows, and I bid on it, and I won with my tickets. And I got a whole package, a whole slew of them. I think I have a few of the, I got some of the small I gave to my daughter because she wants to practice musky fishing or try to get into musky fishing, and I got some of the big ones, and they're excellent. And then, you know, Mr. Parker with handlebars. I have caught a shit ton of fish on his baits. They hold up. There's no issues with the blades. I've caught my 49-inch Kawarthas with it. I've caught a 48. I've caught 44s. I've caught a bunch of big fish. Maybe not a 49. Was it? I did catch a 49, not a 48. It was a 44, sorry. But I've caught a lot of big fish on Mike's baits. I know Steve has caught a shit ton on his baits. But yeah, those are just some of the bait makers who I would really suggest. You know, Clarky, Clarky baits, BR baits, River Slicks, Georgie baits, and then, like I said, handlebars and who did I just say? Handlebars, and then obviously, if you never get a hose bait, get one of those things. But they're very hard to come by. I've been lucky that I've won a daddy and a fatty, and I have a few other that I waited in line for, which, you know, because of COVID. But anyways, this is a video I just wanted to upload. Stay safe, everyone. Hopefully get out, get some fish this year. And if your launch is closed, you know, it's very unfortunate. Hopefully they open them up in the next coming week or so, or 2 weeks, whatever the timeline is. But anyways, hopefully I can upload more for you guys. If not, maybe I'll do another video with some of my favorite like rubber baits and stuff like that. Also, comment down below what your favorite baits are. What are your favorite trolling baits? Who is your favorite bait maker? You know, let me know this kind of things, guys. Like your favorite bait in the fall, the summer, the spring. Like I know I love my 6-inch BWBs in the springtime. I love trolling. I just won this bait actually. It was in a charity. It's a Snowick bait. It's Snowick is his name, I believe, and it's from Netherlands. It's a gorgeous little bait. It's a shallow with a little joint, 2-hook. Really, really, really nice. So I'm interested to try that out this year. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Richard from Troll Line Fishing, and see ya.